Hi, it's Scott MacArthur here. I was just having a look through the socials this morning and I saw some people talking about social media and new platforms, etc. But it took me back to something that happened to me a few years ago that I think might be worth thinking about today, just when we're all sitting at home self-isolating. I'll start by asking you a question. Do you know what one of these is? Do you know what that is? That is a slide. For all you, what Simon Sinek calls daft loony millennials, that's how we used to demonstrate things on the wall with a projector. And I remember working in laboratories where we used to spend hours getting these things right. It's not like PowerPoint where you could just switch it on and there was the bullets and you added your words. You had to actually think about it, take it to a technician. He would look at you really seriously and say, that's going to be expensive. He'd make the slide, and then if you made any mistakes, it was awful because you had to go back to him again and say, could you change it? And you would get another look and he would say, have you got the budget? So we really used to spend a lot of time getting these things right before we pressed the go button. So there's a lesson in that. Now I took that. Probably about 15 years later, I was asked to speak at one of the big technology companies, and they asked me to speak about the power of multimedia in communication. So I thought about it, and I remembered that story. So I stumbled onto the stage with an overhead projector. Now again, if you don't know what they are, they're the sort of the light boxes where we used to put things called acetates, which are like thin sheets of transparent plastic on. We'd draw on them, or we'd have printed on them what we wanted to present, and you present it up onto a mirror, which would then push it onto the wall. And I started to present to these 1,000 techie heads. Now they were all into what was called Yammer, and IBM people were in the room. There was even people there from NASA. And they all started to get nervous, and I said to one fella, what's the matter? And I was aping it up a little bit, I have to be honest, but I said to one fella, what's the matter? And he said, well, this is supposed to be a bit multimedia. I looked at him and I said, well, what part of this isn't multimedia? And the people in the room that were getting it, there was a little rustle of noise, and I thought, some people are getting this. But I took the acetates, and there were the types with the cardboard around them, and I started to throw them into the audience, and I said, write some feedback on those and give me them back, please. Now, the room finally got it. I pressed the button, on came my Prezi behind me, which is the presentation technique I use, and the room got it. It doesn't matter if it's new or if it's old in terms of technology. What matters is, does it work? And in these days where we're unfortunately having to self-isolate and we're worrying about keeping in contact with people, just give you a tip from the past that might just be worth thinking about. If you've seen my recent TED Talk, you'll have seen me talking about my grandfather's foot, and here it is. It's a foot deep of letters that he wrote to me over a period of 30 years after he had a fit of angina and couldn't really get out of the house. And I thought, those letters I've just shown you, these letters here are over 30 years old. They'll last much longer than any multimedia, any iPhone, any Android, whatever you're looking at this on. In 30 years' time, that'll be gone. But these letters persist. Just think how it would feel for your parents, grandparents, friends, kids, if through the letterbox in the next few days came one of these letters. These are time machines unlike anything else. Record the current time. These are different times. This is the edge of next. And I think that sort of thing is what will help people remember it and deal with it and deal with their personal anxieties. I hope you found that interesting. This is Scott MacArthur.